Hello, welcome. I am going to attempt another Excel case today. This particular one is from the South African Excel Championship. This is one that I've not completed before, so I'll be going into this completely blind, but it looks interesting. So let's see how I do. I've got my clock here. I'm going to start it and move my solver sheet over. So this particular one is based off of chutes and ladders, it seems like. So as usual, I'm going to move my solver sheet over, make a new window that I'll be working out of, and then go back to the case. So it does seem like this is based on chutes and ladders. Steppies go up, snakes take us down. So they've got some tokens, play with dice, plays on the board. They all start on the first block. Since I've got like a Unicode error there, they were very generous to give us these dice values here, so I'm just going to go right ahead and label this as LST dice, LST val, do that right at the start. Cross games, I'm going to start with a bonus question. How many times did a player roll a 6? So I'm going to just create a new sheet here where I put everything in there. So there's probably a quicker way to do this. If it's all in G, let's try to do this quickly. So equals case G. So we want U, we want U, we want U. Okay, well, that's what I get for trying to be quick. We've got all of you. Just go ahead and drop you off here. And we've got all of these. And we want to isolate how many times a 6 was rolled. Alright. Delete. Let's just do to call comma 3. Clean that up. The player roll a 6. So we're going to do a text split. And we also want to do this by row. So let's do the text split first. And by row B1, lambda row, text split row. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Well, we can just drag this down then. What's going on here? Okay, there's nothing else beyond this. Next up, let's do another to call of these. Ignore all of them. Then equals, I need a 6. equals count if 1787. Oh, it doesn't say if it's an answer or not. Was the total number of pips thrown on all the dice. So this is actually just as easy, so let me just do actually equals LST dice and equals this times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I could have done a sum product here. Oh well. Oh well. 38860. Let's just do a sum product just for fun. Sum product of this sequence of 6. Perfect. Total number of blocks one could progress across all steppies on game board 2. Tell you what, let's create a new sheet. And let's do 2 call. Let us do a let equals value equals this value times 1 if error value times 1 comma val. Interesting. Why is 87 just treated as a text here? Weird. Let's do a text split based off of this question mark here. Perfect. Equals this minus this. If error, comma 0. 883. So I think that's all of them, I hope. Be embarrassing if it wasn't, but we're going on to the first problems here. We got 8 minutes in. Let's go ahead and hide all this. Player only, how many blocks does the player progress? Text split. Let's do a 2 call here just to make my life easier. Equals LST dice count if some product of this times sequence of 6. 15. Perfect. Let's quickly put this into a let statement. I'm gonna just call this P1 dice just to get ahead of here. And that's equal to call text split of this, comma. And then let's just do a P1. What's going on? Oh, get rid of that. What is going on here? There we go. And it's really just a sum product of this, and then this is LST dice. Progress. Actually, I need to keep track of which space they fall on, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves right now. We have some foundations here. Oops. $11 in. Alright. What block does the player end up on after the following 10 dice rolls? Yes, let's move you over here, for example, just for the time being. So this is how far they progress. So instead, what I want to do, this is going to be an X lookup of this, comma, LST dice, comma, LST values. And we need a running total. Roll movement running count equals scan 0, comma, lambda x comma y, x plus y. So we could do a reduce here, but I'm actually gonna, I know that we're gonna need to keep track of which square that we fall on, so what I'm gonna do is do a square. Well, what block does the player end up on? Steppies only. That's board 2, right? Doesn't say, oh, board 2, okay. Okay, so we do need to keep track on. So we're gonna do an let's do board 2. Let's do a, can I reverse this? No. Let's only extract the length. So let's do is Steppy equals if, so let's just do a sequence. Sequence of 100 rows, step of -1. Starting at 100. Is step equals if when this now just equals if the length of this is greater than the length of this. I don't need an if statement here. Alright. And step square equals if not, comma, left, no, right, of this, comma, by the length of U17, comma, and if it's false, then we want just T17. Bu -bu 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 -bu. We want it, we want this but the left. Perfect. Alright, let's turn this into a let statement. Equals let board, comma, to call. Board, comma, this, comma, board. Sick, comma, this, comma, sick is step len of board (17 minutes), and then we want the step square. V17 is step, U17 is sequence, board is T17. Grab me the step square. Alright, what we can do now, square is always going to be equal to, alright, so now we have a board 2 of step square. Board 2 step square. I know for sure. Let's just do a piece by piece. X look up this, comma. -1, comma. This one is going to be equals this. Well, first, let's drop this here. Let's drop this here. And Let's see if I can do a scan. 20 minutes in. Scan this array. We want a lambda of x lookup x lookup of x, probably y. No, we want x comma y, x plus x lookup. Perfect. And supposedly this should just be the max of this. Hopefully that's alright. I can't check my work, so we're doing example. That's strange. My thing isn't updating. No bother. We can just do it on the fly. Um, 21 minutes in. One player only. During which dice roll does the player finish the game end up on 100? We want to maintain. Let's just see which one has board step square. Okay, so we don't need this. Example 3 ends up on 100. So do they finish once they move? When does the game finish? If that player on block, if she throws at least the quantity required to get to 100. Does not need to be exact. Move you away, please. Go away. Equals this less than 100. Actually, greater than or equal to. And then x lookup true. Bruh. Lookup value here. Lookup array here. During which dice roll? Okay. Equals sequence rows equals x lookup 23 minutes true. Come on. Why? $26. Says it gets there on 18. Oh, we're on board 3 though. Are we still doing? So we're doing snakies too. So that requires us to modify our step square here. So we're going from board 2 to board 3. Luckily, as long as the length, it just doesn't matter, it just tells it where it needs to go. If it's greater, if it's smaller, it doesn't matter. Supposedly it does though, because we're on 26 here. Let's check out board 3. We go from 3, that puts us up, so that immediately tells us something's weird here. 3 should take us to 21. Show me the board. Um, 26 minutes. I'd like to at least get this one done. You're saying it's true. How is the length of you? Oh, I think I did it completely wrong. Go back to board 2 real quick. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Headset died again. I paused it quickly. I'm going back quickly. I thought I had this right. For board 2, we want item number. Oh, you know what? I think it's because of the way it's doing 2 call. I didn't think of this. No? It's doing it right. If length of board is greater than length of sequence. That's so weird. Okay. That threw me off. That's devastating. Maybe multiplying this by 1 times 1, and then if error. That still doesn't do it. That's unfortunate. Time's up here, though. So I'll probably just submit this as is. And let's just see how we did. Okay, so we got the first two bonuses right. This one was wrong. 181. Okay, well, disappointing finish here, but that is what it is. I am going to try and practice this on my own, figure out what went wrong here. I think it's because of this thing right here. So just for fun, let us do a text replace substitute. Substitute. How do I get a line break? Excel substitute line break. I could do find and replace. I don't want to though. I want to do substitute and car10 equals substitute. And then let's just do that. Will do it. Let's make this the board real quick. Where's my let statement? So this is my let statement. Let us go back to the board. Let us, actually we'll keep it as true false and we'll replace the board with this. Board space 2. I suppose I could also put this in a substitute, so comma car 10 comma and that will do it. If is step 10. Yep. Go back down to step square. You should be taking me to 40. Why are you taking me to? Take me to 0 because that's where the thing is. So we want to remove, we want to take the right by the length of the string. Alright, so I'm going to mute the video here and speed up the next 15 or so minutes. There are two major reasons why. So the first part is just me fumbling with the logic of extracting the square that the player would land on if there was a chute or a ladder for the particular square. Usually good at extracting a particular region of a string, but for whatever reason I just could not get the characters that I wanted after that particular portion, so I ended up just doing a double substitute, a substitute within a substitute, the first substitute taking out the snake and the second substitute taking out the ladder, or reverse the order there. I'm not 100% sure which order it was, but in any case, there's definitely a cleaner way to go about it, but just in the moment, I wanted to take care of this and do the solution that made the clearest sense in my mind. So that was the first thing I took care of, figuring out which square the player lands on after a chute or ladder. The second big one was my logic for how the player starts the game itself. So the original way that I have it set up was the player starting on square 0 and progressing as follows. So for example, in example 2, the first player rolls a 6, so normally uh, they should land on square 7 since they start on square 1, but I had them starting at square 0, and as a result, for example 2, going from space 6 to space 40. I did have a solution that I'll explain later, but those next 15 minutes were me just figuring out those two major things. And understanding that the player starts on square one for whatever reason was just a major blunder on my part. But once I figured it out, that was a pretty quick solution. And I was able to progress through level 2 and level 3. Okay, after much deliberation through Jason Weber's walkthrough, I have since realized that we do indeed start on square number 1, not square number 0. So that's where everything fell apart. If we were starting from 0, we would land on the 40, but we're starting from 1, so we go from 1 to 7. That's the issue. So let's work with that here. Going back to board 2, or our solver sheet, the way I accounted for this was just if this is equal to 1, then add 1 to it. Like if it's the first roll, add 1 to it. If not, it's just what it is. So let me... I don't even know if I have a lambda for this even set up yet, so this is fine. Let's take a look at number 18. What the heck? Okay, so now it's deciding to update. Okay. Data table, column input. So, does it want us to extend beyond? I think we just do 100 there. 1482, I believe that was correct. Very nice. Also, really quickly, while I was away, I did figure out how to get 286. My solution to that was simply taking, again, that sequence and then extracting the differences between them. So anything where there was a step, and then just taking this minus this to get 286. I thought I did that before. Must have did it wrong. Okay. Let's try to continue on to question 3. Now that we've actually troubleshot this correctly. So supposedly on example 3 we get there on roll 18. And we need to change this from board 1 to board 3. How do we have a value error here? How do we have a value error there? Still having this issue. mean, the good news is I can just do an if. The is step is just, you know, equals this times 1 is error times 1. So I don't even need to do that. Is error board times 1. And for here, we don't want to substitute. Instead, we want, it's the same issue. Text after whatever. I'm just going to substitute out the snake. Definitely not the most elegant, but if I was in a competition, this is what I would be doing. And look at that. So supposedly we get this on 18. That is the case. $263, is that the answer here? Wonderful. Which player reaches 100 first? So for here, the issue is there's 2 per. So more post-recording editing here. This was the portion where I realized that my solver sheet, creating the data tables for the relevant game numbers, because there are 2 rows per each game number and we're dealing with merged cells, I had to do a little bit of processing to make sure that the solver sheet could read it easily, so that way once I had a solution for one, I could scale it through the data table. So that's what I'm doing here, fast forwarding it, and then we can continue on with the solution. I can definitely live with this. We don't need these. We don't need these. You're board 4 now. We need an equivalent of do I have this right? I think we just care about these 2. This is 3 and 6, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. Alright. 1 and 4. Okay, so this does line up. We don't need you. Running count, square, winner. So this is P1, this is P2. We need a movement. It's just which player wins. X lookup. Let's do this off to the side so it doesn't get mad. The value true. Why does it always do that? Oh, because of this. Oh, this needs to be fixed. This is 1, this is 2. Equals if, in case of a draw, player wins, 1 wins. So if this is less than this, comma 2, comma 1. And because of all the funny business, can't copy. One, 2. I hate dealing with merge cells. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. 1694. 1694, very nice. Very hard. 2 players play 3 rounds. What is the sum of both players' blocks? Play these rounds. What is the sum of both players' game blocks they end up on after all dice were rolled? Okay. I will need to be doing the same thing here. Dang, that's tough. The exact same deal. equals this. First, unmerging everything. This is going to look ugly, but I'm going to live with it. The example 2 4 2 2 2 4 2 2. Okay, everything lines up. We want board number 5 here. After all dice were rolled. Because I changed where the board 2 square is. Annoying. That's what I get for doing this outside of the lambda. What is going on there? No kidding, but the heck? The reason, oh, well, I need to adjust the name manager again and delete that because we're doing 1,000 now. And that's the board. That's our sequence. If it's a step. If is step. We're substituting it out. Oh, it's the delimiter that'll do it. I think. Like, for example, right here, how do we get to 41,000? Oh, well, first of all, start at 1,002. Okay, perfect. We're back. We're back. We're so back. What is the sum total of both players' game blocks they end up on after all dice were rolled? So this plus this is 1045. Well, the squares are... Oh, because I also need to adjust the sequence. Roll, movement, running count. We need to change this to 1000, 1000. If error 1000. There's errors for everything, that's why. Thousand, comma, 1000, comma, -1, comma, 4, 2 steps. 5. What's going on here? How have I already forgotten how this works? If it's 3, it should end up... Whoa, what's going on here? Oh. What is going on? Show me the board first. Why are we... Oh, because I'm only grabbing... I need to adjust this, not from J10 to like J100. Yeah. The little things, the little things. 588. $10.70. Wonderful. Let's go all the way up to the top here. Let's just put you right here. Alright, the final post audio recording that I'm throwing in here is just me trying to copy and paste an easy way of my solutions into the merge cells. Unlike the fourth level where I could just type in a 1 or a 2 for player 1 or player 2, this was a little bit more involved and I didn't want to type in 3 or 4 digit numbers for 30 different ones. So I just ended up making a new sheet and spacing everything out and then connecting everything that way. This gives me the idea of probably creating a lambda that does it for me, since off the top of my head I have no idea how to efficiently do it other than by hand. So that might be something I work on in the free time. Other than that, this was really enjoyable case, other than the very major blunders that I made throughout the process. Definitely helped me figure out a few different things. After the case was finished, I went back and did some let statements to get more familiar with that, and I think I have a good process of preparing for a competition and adding that into the workflow. It definitely makes life a little bit easier when making modifications, and there's definitely a way to build it gradually with the helper tables. Um, but other than that, thanks for bearing with me for the last hour. Hope there was something valuable to be had here. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Over an hour and 20 minutes. I'll probably edit some post commentary here, but thank you for watching. See you in the next video.